Good evening, all our viewers. Once again, I welcome to all of you to yet another session on Fearless Against Rabies on the topic animal bites and scratch and how vaccination can prevent rabies. So, as you all know, that rabies is a 100% fatal disease, and 28th September is observed worldwide as World Rabies Day. So today we have with us Dr. Surajit Sahu, expert physician from Cuttack, who will be guiding us here and will be discussing more on vaccination following an animal bite and how we can prevent rabies. So before we enter into the live session, interaction with Dr. Surajit Sahu, I would just like to have a brief about the organization. Human Biological Institute is a division of Indian Immunologicals Limited, and it's a subsidiary of National Dairy Development Board. It was established, IIL was established by National Dairy Development Board in the year 1982 as a unit and later registered as a company in 1999. Human Biological Institute, which is a division of Indian Immunologicals Limited, was established in the year 1998 when the government of India requested IL to produce modern tissue culture anti-rabies vaccine to phase out the unsafe nerve tissue vaccine. During that period, 14 injections used to be taken, and it was a nerve tissue vaccine. The first manufacturing facility of HBI was established at Ooty. The facility is one of its kind in India to have rolled out first varicose rabies vaccine in the year 2000. Subsequently, HBI has launched various other vaccines, and recently we have introduced the first indigenously developed hepatitis A vaccine. HBI is a leader in anti-rabies vaccine segment and present in more than 60 countries. HBI has three state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities, one at Ooty, Gachibowli, and Karkapatla, which is otherwise called as the Genome Valley. HBI has also forayed into marketing of clinically proven wellness products and infertility range of hormones. With the vision of shaping global healthcare by spearheading One Health Initiative with a mission to innovate and produce and market quality healthcare products and services to improve and extend lives, we believe in providing affordable products with high quality through continuous technical innovations and improvements to meet our customer needs. HBI has various CSR initiatives. One such initiative is adoption of government school. IL has adopted two government schools in the vicinity of Karkapatla, which is in Telangana near to Hyderabad, and gift a meal program in coordination with NDDB, where more than 60 children benefited in Telangana and Tamil Nadu. IL also donated oxygen generation plant to TIMS Gachibowli. To know more about Human Biological Institute, please visit www.indimune.com and follow us on the various social media links. Yeah. It's my honor to welcome Dr. Surajit Sahu, who is a consultant physician practicing in Cuttack, that is Odisha. He is practicing as a physician for more than 50 years. He is a resource person for Rotary Club and has associated with many social organizations and is much active in social media. We are extremely thankful for your presence, sir. Prince Dr. Surajit, welcome to the session Fearless Against Rabies. And today's topic is animal bite and scratch, how vaccination helps prevent 100% fatal disease. To all our viewers, as we all know, that rabies is a 100% fatal disease. Mostly it is uh, uh, transmitted by the animal through bite, that is warm-blooded, dog bite, cat bite. So today, we have Dr. Surajit who will be discussing on various myths and facts, and will be sharing various clarity on rabies and its management. So, doctor, welcome to the session.
Thank you very much for
So,
this
doctor,
wonderful. Yeah,
yeah, please, doctor.
yeah. Thank you very much for this wonderful, much needed, and it's very innovative ideas to create an awareness among the people, which has got 100% fatality, can be completely prevented. And in our country, the scheme has to be implemented, and also the people have to know the all the ins and outs of these bites or the scratches, and we'll be discussing about that.
Yeah, it is quite disheartening to know any deaths or people losing life because of a bite or a scratch due to ignorance or negligence. But yes, we have various biologicals available in India, which is quite affordable, and it prevents rabies, and definitely it saves life. So, doctor, the first would like to understand from you, as we all know that rabies is transmitted to animal bite. Can you elaborate more on how this virus gets transmitted to human being?
Yeah. First, let us know as to the prevalence of this disease, because in India, uh, it's because if you see the cities and also the villages, plenty of dogs moving around in the street. Live in the city of Cuttack of Orissa, and then in every lanes we have dogs, stray dogs. Besides those stray dogs, also there are pets. Now there are a lot of misnomers in our country. Those who are keeping stray dogs, means those who are keeping pets as dogs, and they're dog lovers. We love them. We want them to keep their pets. Birds are also they can keep. In India, the animal bites, particularly of the stray dogs, are significantly very high public health concern is there, because almost contributing towards about 20,000 deaths in India per year. That's a huge number. And then if we see the global scenario also, India makes it almost the 30s, almost one third of the cases of deaths because of rabies is in the world is in India itself. So every third person suffering from the rabies is from India, is an Indian, and therefore it has got rabies fatalities are also very high, and therefore because it is preventable, therefore the awareness also has to be created in the people, not only with the people but also with the government, because the municipality, the corporations, and the municipality areas where the stray dogs are there, there was a lot of projects going on for the stray dogs, uh, the vaccination for the stray dogs, the castration of the stray dogs, and then the elimination of the stray dogs to a particular area. And then the number of the stray dogs are increasing rapidly, and during their mating season, you go to any lanes and bylanes, and then you'll be chased, whether you're going in a rickshaw or a bicycle or motorcycle or just walking, you'll be chased by the stray dogs. So these are the few things that are to be are the concerns and the things that has to be addressed in the society. And the role of the society, the people also, they have to demand to the government and to the municipality that these are the few things. The dog squads are there, and then the animal prevention vehicles are there in some of the cities. But these are the few things that has to be acted upon, and also the people also should know so that they can respond to this need of fearless to be fearless about the animal bite, and also if there is a bite, what are the treatment, what are the incidences of the treatment, and what are the things that has to be done also has to be known. Therefore, it is more important that yes, the concern is there because the stray dogs are there, and then awareness and access to the post-exposure prophylaxis. Post-exposure prophylaxis means those who have been bitten uh, someday and by the stray dogs, that the post-exposure prophylaxis is a thing which can prevent the disease, dreaded disease, because this disease, once it is not protected, if you are suffering from that disease, then it's 100%, 99 to 100% fatality is there, and there is no way out. But it is completely preventable, and therefore one has to know that yes, once the preventable thing is there, then one has to know about that condition as to what are the public education and what are the preventive measures. The public education is more important, by which now supposing anyone is listening to me through this venture, will be definitely knowing, and it is not only their responsibility to keep that knowledge with themselves, but they, along with their family members, they should transmit this knowledge to others also, so that in recompense also the people will know that yes, this is what is happening. Now this is the scenario in India, but the review scenario. Now there are certain other things, what are the lot of questions that comes to our mind as to what are the reservoirs for the rabies infection in India? What are the reservoirs? Where does it come from? And it's mostly through the dogs, the animals, dogs, cats, and few animals like mongoose or jackals and foxes. But foxes and jackals are there only in the very limited areas. But more important is the dogs and cats. The bite is there. We have to be very careful as to, because the dog lovers won't like this term, but whenever I am a dog lover, I have to take care of the dog and also protect it from being suffering from different diseases. And also, if there is a injection which has been given to the pet, also it is not very safe that okay, once I have given the injection, that means it's 100% sure that even that bite won't cause any rabies. That also is very myth in our society. But only thing that you have to see, whenever there is any bite by the dog or the cat or any animals, so one has to know whether there are types of injuries that causes this, and therefore one has to know that which type of injuries, when there are types. So anyway, I can go into that details sometime later, but at least the leakage of the saliva of the rabid dog or rabid cat or rabid animal is to be protected, and what are the things to be done, we can discuss that also. But I think the reservoir of the rabies infection in India is mostly through the dogs and cats. Sometimes monkeys also play a role in that, because in our situation, because now in the villages the monkeys were there taking care of taking their food from the villages, but now because they've been chased out from the villages, therefore they come also to the cities, and also they attack the different people, so, especially surrounding the temples and then the domestic areas. So these are the few things that we have to be careful as to how we deal with the dogs, stray dogs, and also the apes or the monkeys. And dogs and humans are also likely to get the transmission, and therefore it has to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Now we'll be going into the details up to supposing dog bites to me, and
Uh, Doctor,
from yes,
just wanted to understand, yes, like we have been discussing on various stray animals, basically cat and a dog. But in practice, what public, in the general awareness of our common public do is basically after a small scratch from a cat, also people we have seen that because they were not aware that yes, yes, small a cat scratch or a bite can also be fatal,
yeah,
and they consult on uh, they don't even consult medical practitioners. They go
yeah,
to pharmacies, nearest pharmacies, take a
yeah,
tetanus toxoid, and uh, and feel that yes, the treatment is done. So. Uh, can you just throw more light on what is the actual treatment of a
okay,
dog bite or a scratch? Whether it's a dog
okay,
or cat, it's immaterial because
yeah,
rabies can be spread through cat also, domesticated cat. And um, we have also seen
yeah,
pet bites uh, where even a small pup bite
yeah,
has transmitted rabies, and we have lost life in India.
yes, yeah. Actually, there are the animal bites, if it is treated equally, are to be treated whether that has to be seen. As you said, that the people they don't concern about they are not concerned about the type of bite they have, because the division is there, the category of injury that is there with the now supposing there are three categories. Number one is category one. Number two is category two, and the category three is the another category where we need to know what are the three types of categories. Category two is one is just fondling and touching the animals and legs with the intact skin. Now there is no scratch. There's no scratch, but we are fondling with the or fiddling with the pets or cats, and then there is no injury, there is no skin abrasion in our body, then it is a category one. This is of the feeding of the animals, even though the animal is rabid, but if there is a skin condition is all right. If there is no wound, then it is a category one. Then category two is then the nibbling or the uncovered skin or minor scratches where there is no bleeding. Scratches may be there, some nail scratches or the bite scratches will be there, but there's no bleeding. If there's no bleeding, then there's only the scratch is there, then it is category one, category two. Then in those cases, immediate vaccination and then local treatment of the wound is more important. I'll be coming to that treatment part a little later, but this is I'm explaining about the three types of category of wounds. And then the third category is the single or multiple scratches, whether it's a transdermal or the bites or the scratches where the is out. That means it's a, whether it's a scratch or a huge bite or a small bite. If the blood is seen oozing, then it's definitely category three, where one has to go in for the immediate vaccination and the administration of the rabies immunoglobulins, and also local treatment wound has to be given. So these are the few things that one has to know: the type of wound, and whether it's through while feeding my pet, I may be having a scratch. and if the scratch is there and also there is no wound, then it's only a leaking of the saliva of the dog or the pet or the cat. And if the skin is intact, then it's a category 1. Then category 2, if the skin is intact, is not intact, and there's a scratch, then whether there's any scratch or the skin is abrasion is there without any bleeding, then it is category 2. But if at all there is a usually what happens when there's a dog bite or cat bite or the scratches, the blood comes out, and once the blood is there, then it has to be rated as the category 3, where we have to be very careful and they immediately rush to the hospital for the treatment. But before that, there is a very simple thing that one has to understand. Whenever whether it's a category 1 or category 2 or category 3, the first thing is that the washing the wound with the plain, clean running water is more important, because what happens, the saliva which is there in the with the rabid dog or cat gets deposited on that particular spot, and therefore the running water washing is more important. One is running water for about 15 minutes. You'll have to wash it with the running water, and after that you can use, after 15 minutes you can use the soap, ordinary soap. There's no typical type of soap that is important. We are not practicing with any different type of soap, but any detergent soap or the soap which is we use for bathing can clean that wound, and also that can be preventing the then after that we can see that whether there's a bleeding, whether it's a huge bleeding or the small bleeding. If there's a huge bleeding, then we'll have to stop the bleeding by just pressing, and then go to the doctors, the hospitals for the vaccination, and also for the immunoglobulin and treatment. But more important is running washing for 15 minutes, and after that soap water washing again is important. That will clarify the 50% burden of the getting the infection into our system or into our body. Of course, that also depends on which part of the body has been bitten, whether it's the leg or it's the upper arm or it's the chest or abdomen. The fatality will depend on which type of wound it is there and which part of the body is involved. So that is also important as to the concern about the incubation period. The incubation period also will differ in different types. Now, head and neck injury, if it is there,
So
the dog has bitten.
mostly people should be worried when it is upper part of the limb, the maybe the
Yes.
bite or scratch which is near to the brain or
Yes.
face or
Yes.
near to
Yes.
the nerve endings. Yeah.
Because this virus, which is responsible for the rabies, goes to the central nervous system, and it affects the central nervous system and also the nerves. Therefore, it's the nearer to the brain, nearer to the any bite nearer to the upper part of the body will definitely cause a little less incubation period than the trunk or abdomen or even lower part of the body. In lower part of the body, it's about 60 to 70 days, but whereas in the hands, it is about 60 days, and in the bite for about head and face and trunk, it's about 20 to 30 days. So these are the incubation period in which the people can be careful. And before that, of course, we don't have to wait prevent wound to be infected. And also, number 2 is that getting the immunoglobulin and also vaccination is more important. And these are the few things that has to be come into our mind. But there are some myths also that there. Now, supposing a bite from the birds is there, they may be thinking that, okay, I may be getting that from the reptiles or the bites from the birds, reptiles or insects. Bite also is there. and they may be thinking that no, this may be also causing, because we do not know that animal is, or the bird is suffering from uh, rabies or not. But it's usually not very common, and
Even if
that
rodents, I
doesn't.
think rat bite also we don't recommend rabies vaccine.
Yes, rat bite also we don't recommend rabies for the way. So there are certain animals, birds, means, reptiles, birds, and insects, or even the rats also. We don't recommend them for these vaccination. But the source of the infection to the human is also the saliva of the rabid animal containing the virus in its source of infection, and also in the, now supposing a person is being bitten, and then she is a rabid woman, or the lactating mother. Now supposing there may be certain questions in her mind, that now supposing if I am suffering from any rabies, whether it will be secreted through milk or urine, milk, and so that whether I can give my breastfeeding to my child, is a question that comes to anyone's mind. But this is quite safe, even though there is a chance of getting that, but the chances of getting rabies from the breastfeeding to the from mother to the child is very insignificant, and therefore one has to be very careful as to careful in a sense that they should be knowing that this is not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is really, doctor very clearly said about how the bites are, because we must be more careful about how the bites are, and more aware of, and also teach our childrens how they should be. Most of the people, most of the bite get unnoticed, or they don't even report to the parents being scolded. So, for in the fear of being getting scolding from the parents, they don't even report to their parents, and which can be a serious, a big accident, or big. It can be a fatal course later on. So when we know that you have already shown the source of life, the transmission of animal. Yes, birds, reptiles, and rodents, they don't transmit rabies, but all the warm-blooded animals, they transmit rabies. So basically, sir, can you tell how is the first aid taken place? How to do first aid at home?
Oh, first
Immediate
aid,
first
yeah.
aid. Many
Yes,
people apply
immediate.
turmeric and chili powder. They do home remedies. They
Okay.
apply the what do we call,
Chuna,
various
chuna.
kinds of
Lime.
irritants. Yeah, tuna, very irritants. So plant
Yeah.
extracts. They even
Yes, yes.
go for the plant extracts. So
Yeah.
does that help? And what should be done basically
You
at
know, we
home?
have, yes, what we have to know is that how does this infection gets into the system? The system, the leakage of the saliva of the rabid animal is more important. It is not what we are applying or what we are keeping and what we are, now supposing if we put haldi over the saliva, then that's not going to kill those virus.
Yeah.
See, what happens is that we have to, the concentration of the virus is there in the saliva, and then the bitten area or the scratched area or the where there is a blood, that area has to be cleaned. So, as I told, that running water washing is just a very simple way that we can. It's not a few drops of water and then, but it's the running water, and then that will lessen the concentration of the virus in the saliva that is attached to your wound. So that is the main thing. First thing is that washing for 15 minutes. It's not only that just plain washing is important, but also running water washing for about 15 minutes is very important, very crucial. Now, after the 15 minutes of washing, then also we'll have to use that soap, as I told earlier also. The soap washing is also important. You don't have to bind or tie those wounds. No, let the blood flow. There's no problem about that. But The more important is the leakage of the leaking or the saliva which is attached to the wound is more important. That has to be properly cleaned up, and then only that will just by washing the wound, 50% of work is over. That can be done in any place. Any place we have the injury, then you'll have to see that there is no bleeding. Now, even if there is a bleeding, we can use the ice pack also. Ice pack also can be used to stop the bleeding from, because that will. It's a very simple way that whenever we are bitten by dogs or by any by animal. Now, supposing if I am using a pants and then that pant is a thick cotton pant, they may be thinking that okay, this thick cotton pant is not going to penetrate the teeth, cannot penetrate, and after about 15 to 20 minutes, they'll be feeling as the burning sensation in the legs where they have been bitten. So that
True.
means the wound, the teeth has already penetrated the pant, even though it is thick, and then it has scratched the under the skin, over the skin, and therefore one has to be very careful. So immediately remove your pant and then wash the wound thoroughly. If there's a bleeding, if there's a blood, even just a one drop of blood, then it's a category 3. If there's no bleeding, then it's a category 2. If the intact skin is there, it's a category 1. So these are the few categories that we have to know it. And then immediately, if there's a category 3, you'll have to rush immediately after the first aid to be given, the running water washing and also soap water washing. We'll have to rush to the hospital for the immunoglobulin and then the vaccine.
Yeah. So it is very clear that yes, we have to wash the wound properly. All the wounds definitely is on the running drop water, because it helps in removing the saliva which has the viral load. Very important. Thank you so much, doctor. It is also very important that um, to apply the antiseptic at home, because it will also help in, because it is immediately available at home and it can be used. And later on, most
Yes.
important, we should not forget to go to a practitioner or to consult the doctor. It is very important, because most of the time what we see, people think that yes, it is can be done at home, but that can be fatal. So it is always after the first aid we must consult a doctor, whether it is a leak also. We
Yeah.
feel that whether it is a leak, just consult a doctor. It's not a just to show a, because if there is a scratch and broken skin, then it can be a cause of rabies. So definitely we have to consult medical practice. So the last
There's a question now. No, there's a question now. If
yeah.
someone has touched the contaminated wound and then after 10 minutes he touched the clothes and the other guy touches that cloth, whether there can be rabies infection. Let me be very clear here that if you have a skin which is intact, there is no wound, whether you clean it, because you have to clean the wound with your hand and soap, and then that contaminated saliva can be washed and with your the other person who is cleaning should also, but if the skin is intact, there is no danger for that. The other person also can clean and then can wipe it out, the saliva and other things. So there's no danger in that, the scratch. And then if he takes any food also in that hand, that means it doesn't have to be very scary or very fearful. So this is the topic that we want to say, that okay, fearlessness, without any fear, you go ahead and treat your relatives, treat your near and dear ones, treat your friends, and that's the message that I want to give to Mr. Rohit Singh. He has
Yes,
asked this
raised
question.
a question. It's a very relevant question, and we have a toll free number where we get calls from various concerned victims, and this is a very common question being asked. Suppose saliva is on the, let's say, the sleeper or the footwear we use, and the person then the healthy person wears that saliva infected sleeper or a cloth, will it transmit rabies? So, uh, doctor, can you please again tell
Yeah, yeah,
how?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, supposing if we are using a chappal or any footwear or even clothes which has been infected, infested with the saliva, then if you have an injury in the leg or injury or wound in your scratch in your leg, then there are chances of getting that saliva to be communicated, and that has to be cleaned up properly. This is what. But if the usually we don't have the injuries in our skins. Maybe moving around with shoes and pants and all the trousers, and then this cannot be. We don't have to fear about that. The wound may be infected wound is there, but we should be careful as to how our legs or how our hands are, whether it's without any scratch or not. If there's any wound, if there's a wound there, well, there are chances of getting that infection coming to you through those wounds. But we should be very careful as to how we wash our hands and how we wash the part of the body which has been contaminated with the saliva or the virus-loaded saliva.
Yeah. That's very clear. I think today Mr. Rohit has raised the right question, and we feel that all the viewers will be benefited out of it. The last question, doctor. It's there is a lot of confusion among the people. They take one dose, two dose vaccination. So, what is the right dose of vaccination, and what is the schedule?
Yeah. Let me be very clear about there are two types of vaccine. One is the immunoglobulin injections on the spot on the local area where the wound is there. The immunoglobulin has to be given, and you'll be surprised. You'll be happy to know that once you take the immunoglobulin, it's a lifetime immunity that you're getting. But and also along with that we have got to there are 5 doses that is been given. Zero, you just remember, 0, 3, 7, 14 and 28, 28 or 30, 0, 3, 7, 14 and 28. Sometimes the confusion is there, what is this 0, whether it's the day of the bite or the day of the first injection. It's very important to know that the day of the first injection is the day 0. Because now, supposing today you have been bitten and then you have forgotten to take the vaccine injection, then that tomorrow or day after tomorrow you take that, then that itself is that 0 day. 0 day means on the day of the first injection that you take it, and then after third day, after 3 days, the second injection. After 7 days, there are third injection. After 14 days, is the fourth injection, and after 28 to 30 days, on the 28 to 30 days is the fifth injection. So these are the whole course of injections that has to be. Now, supposing once you have the question may be there. Now, once you have been beaten by a dog and then you have already been protected, and then you have already taken the 5 doses schedule. Now, supposing after 1 year, or after 2 years, after 5 years, you get another bite, then what is the schedule? That schedule is little less schedule that 0, 3, 7, that's all. And those are the, there are a lot of misnomers. There are a lot of companies which are coming up. Okay, we have 14 injections. Previously, we used to take it around the umbilicus, and now we have got only one shot, and that is not a correct thing. So the vaccination is required if there is a bite category number 3 is the immunoglobulin has to be given locally, and also the vaccines ARV, anti-rabies vaccine also has to be given 0, 3, 7. Remember 0, 3, 7, 14 and 28 or 30. 28 or 30. The 5 shots are there. No?
True. That's so great. So, thank you, doctor. As we wrap up the session, for today's. We would like to uh, would you like to give your a message to the public who are our viewers for today?
Yes, very much required is that it's the responsibility of the society. As a responsible member of the society, it's our responsibility to make ourselves clear and transmit this knowledge to others. And not only that, if the municipality, if you have got any hold in the municipality or corporation, you have to see that the dogs, stray dogs are there, and then this stray dogs treatment also has to be given. Now, there's another question also that comes to our mind, that supposing if I have given my pet well fully immunized, then should there be any, we don't bother whether we have given the pet the vaccine or not, but the type of injury, as I showed you about the category 3 injuries, we have to give them the vaccines or this ARV vaccines.
Yeah. Then, doctor, one question was that 1 year somebody has taken like
Yeah,
vaccine,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Again, after
I have
1 year,
already,
yeah, that is
yes,
done.
yes.
Then one
I think
question
I have
is,
already done that.
yeah, Mr.
Yes.
Rohit Singh has again asked a question. It said why it said by WHO that rabies not transmitted by inanimate object. Yes, absolutely. Then if someone touches a contaminated cloth having scratch on his hand, how it will transmit?
Yeah. It is not the inanimate objects, but also if it all depends on the virus. Now, supposing virus is there in the leakage of the saliva is there, and then you have touched it. If it depends on when was the saliva was contaminated with the inanimate objects, and also with the virus. Virus doesn't remain there for a long time. Virus
Not survive.
uh, won't survive for a long
Yeah.
time. Yes. So even though we dry it also in the sunlight, then sun drying also is quite enough to kill the virus also.
Yes, because sunlight, rabies virus cannot survive in the external environment. So, if
Yes.
for longer time, so it
Yes.
really depends on how fresh is the
Yeah.
saliva, how what is the viral load, and how where is the bite. So it depends on various situation. But yes, definitely, as per WHO, cannot be transmitted. It is not transmitted by inanimate object, but uh, somebody touching with a scratch because saliva is already exposed to the external environment, so virus may not be live there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So another,
Uh,
uh,
yeah.
he's taking that switch off anti-rabies vaccine. Suppose somebody has already taken certain brand of rabies vaccine, so
Yeah.
can he switch to any other brand? So in that
No.
case,
Brand. Yeah. Yeah.
we can talk to Mr. Rohit. Yes, basically, the change of brand is not as advisable, or change of vaccine is not advisable. But if in very dearth case it is not available, or then it can be switched off. You can change the brand. There is no issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because body vaccine will already trigger some immune response, so the other vaccine will also trigger the immune response.
Yeah.
So body will generate antibodies. Yes. So thank you so much, doctor, for being here with us today. So all our viewers, once again, thank you for joining us here today. And we had a very interesting session with Dr. Surajit Sahu, and we expect him once again in future to be here with us to discuss on some other topic, health topic, or some other uh, latest advancement in the rabies treatment, or animal bite treatment, or prevention of rabies. Thank you so much, doctor.
Thank you. Nice talking to you, and nice viewing also by the viewers. And then
Yeah.
I will only say that take care of yourself.